How many of you are difficult? Oh, a very brave audience. In England, nobody will put their hand up. In America, you get quite a lot. That's impressive. I found in Malaysia, nobody would put their hand up. But men and women are different. Do we agree? Are men and women the same? No. Are women all the same? No. Make a note of that. That's very strong. Are men all the same? Okay, so one of the things I've been studying over, and this does support this wonderful expansion of gender roles and gender characteristics. This is not about gender ID, this is about behaviour. So what I've been studying since I've been in my whole life, but certainly the last 30 years, is what is it that makes us different? So I'm looking at biology and our neurology, okay? Men are more like this. So in terms of a pictorial representation of men, men are fairly straightforward, think in squares, and I'm not limiting this to every man, but generally men look for doing a task, asking for a solution, finding a solution, acting on it. Would you agree, ladies?
Yes.
Okay, so if men you don't understand that, just listen to me. And listening is key. So one of the things is that when I started looking at this, I thought, well, we need another pictorial for women. So women are menstrual, we are circular, we are hormonal, we are all those beautiful, wonderful things. It makes us very keen on relationships to do the task. We like to think of lots of things at once. We go off on tangents. And many times in the boardroom, I think if there's an all-male board and they've let one woman in, she never gets any airtime because they're all going in a straight line and she's going around in a circle. So he comes up with an idea and says, well, Mr. Chairman, do you think I should? And they all go, what? So one of the things that is very important is how we listen to each other, how we talk to each other, how we behave with each other. But remember we said not all women are the same. So some of you are thinking, yeah, but I'm not always this sort of circular person. Sometimes I'm a little bit like a male or masculine energy. And that's really where I started looking at how do we bring these together. So what I want you to consider is this is like two operating systems. So this is like a PC and this is like a Mac. We've got lots of very, very efficient programs. We can put a Windows program on both systems. So we're talking at the Windows level, but the operating pattern is different. Now, it works brilliantly while we're happy, but it doesn't work brilliantly when we're stressed or under pressure or we just don't really get it. So this is going to impact all levels of life, our familial life, our social life, our professional life, and our intimate life. So let's have a look at a map. I'm going to give you a very simple map, and I've actually got somewhere here, I've printed off a load of handouts. So if you want one, you have to come and ask me. I'm not going to give them out, but I don't want to take them home, so you might. So this is really key. We need a navigation system. We need to understand the translation. So if all the women in the room say, oh, men are just bossy, and all the men in the room say, women are just bossy, what does bossy mean? I remember working with a wonderful group in Malaysia, and they worked for the Ministry of Women, and they were men and women. And one of the things that's really interesting is I split the group, and the men, I asked them to put on the flip chart, well, how do you describe men and women? 2 columns. And the women did exactly the same thing. So what happened is that after about 3 minutes, the men stopped writing. The women didn't stop writing. And all the men were going, what are they doing? So that was the first point of interest. The women could write 4 times as many words about men and women than men could write about men and women. And everything that's written is true for the person who wrote it. So then it's about having the conversation as to how they translate and what does that mean. And this is my passion, is to get people talking across boundaries in order to create synergy. So would you like to see the map?
Yes.
Good. I'm only going to give you the simple version. But I'm a mapper. So I'm a mathematician and statistician and an artist. So Leonardo da Vinci is my favourite role model. But when I was a kid, I always drew things, so I needed to draw a map. I love geometry. So I thought I'd draw a map. So here it is. It's very simple. A box, a square, and a circle. So remember, our biology dictates this operating platform. Yeah? For me, it's about accepting that we're different at that level. And I'll come on to all the other gender variations in a minute. So, men and women are not all the same, but they are similar at the operating level. There's more. This is actually a 360-degree look, because every single one of us in this room has feminine and masculine energy. So my definition of masculine and feminine energy is, if I've got masculine energy, it's more direct, logical, it's looking at things as processes. My definition, you can decide whether you like it or not. So up here, I realized there were two different extra people in the map. The MF over there, unless you can work it out, is me. And this is why I created it, because I wanted to understand why I always stood straight. I loved squares, boxes, everything in a straight line. That was me. The yin, the feminine energy, is more intuitive. It's about feeling and often about verbal dexterity. So this is the gentle-minded FM and FF. So here's Nelson Mandela. Here's Angela Merkel, if anybody knows the Chancellor in Germany. This is Margaret Thatcher, if anybody remembers my Prime Minister. I can't tell you who that one is, but we know who that one is. If you live in America, you know that. And what's it? I've got one in England. It's just the rooters from the European Union. Okay, so this is Mr. Bullet Point Man, this is Mr. Thinker. This is Miss Slightly Bitchy and a bit occasionally bossy. But this is caring for the world and etc. There's lots and lots of layers to this, but I'll give you one, because the goal is to get into a conversation together, where we're all coming at it from a different point of view. How can that be? And for me, I call it magical conversations. Now, people laugh about my magical conversations, but it always inspires people to get into the space. Because inside that space, you have to not judge other people. That's my rule. So you can have other conversations which are about conflict management or debating or whatever, but in a magical conversation, you're looking to create the future. Is that possible? So, just to give you a little bit more definition, I want you to think about this. I call the MM a ruler, and I call the MF magician, the philosopher, and the sovereign. So let me tell you a quick story about Diane and Alan. Diane was the head of the police department in a borough of the UK, and she was a very feisty woman, definitely would be called bossy. She rushed at 100 miles an hour. She was always very, very directive. I want it and I want it now. Alan was a very quiet, studious, verbally dexterous man. Did he like Diane? No. He found her very imposing, but he was really good at his job and fantastic at detail. And in my first sessions with them on a project, he said, no, I'm going to take early retirement. I can't stand working for this bossy woman. Diane said, oh, he's always such a waste of space, he doesn't do things straight away. What we discovered was that when I asked her, is Alan really good at what he does? Oh, yeah. So he's really good at detail? Yes. And will always get the job done? Yes. Okay. So ask Alan, is Diane really good at running this department? Is she good at being bossy, as you say? The police department is not an easy place to be. Yes, yeah. So when I got them realising this new perspective and got them into the middle of the conversation, and they decided all they needed to do was negotiate for time. So she would come in, I want it now, half an hour, can I do it in 45 minutes? Okay, 40, done a deal, out. He could now relax, get on with his work, he had a time plan, had a destination, knew what to do. After a few months, they became really good friends. So one of the things about understanding differences, for me this is about valuing differences. There's a load of more things in here, obviously. There's all the other diversities, there's generational differences, there's sexual orientations, there's cultural differences, disability difference, everything comes on this, but this is the fundamental in terms of understanding us as human beings and making businesses human places to be. Because once you get into this conversation, you can talk about anything. I've worked with LGBT groups, I've worked with trans clients. They love it because they're on the map. I recently had a conversation with somebody who said he was non-binary. Now I know what non-binary means. It actually means being this and not understanding why. And I would say that was the same for me when I didn't realise why I felt different to my sisters. I'm a mother and a grandmother and heterosexual, but I had this really strong masculine energy. I really just wanted to understand myself. So everybody's on the map, and the goal is to get us into the conversation. Because the conversation will then create the global village and the humanised organisation. My company is called Corporate Heart International, so it's about the heart of the business. And CHI, which are the initials, stands for Chi. And Chi is about flow. So for me, this is about how we flow towards 2030, when we've got a lot of other things to deal with in the world, including artificial intelligence and whatever else comes up when you have world leaders that we have. But maybe we can change that. So sometimes we need a little magic, and I hope that I've shared a little bit of magic with you today. Magical conversation for me is about making the unbelievable believable. And as I said to you earlier, 2030 is only 10 years away. It's not very long. And I love the fact that Goldman Sachs has said what they've said and all that, but it's not fast enough. And I think we need to have some really top-level magical conversations. Because if you look at that circle again, you need to know yourself, love your relationships, and build trust, which is something you referred to as well, Robert. Know, love, and trust. That's what all of you individually can build your business on. You'll get great customers forever if they know, love, and trust you. You've heard that. How to make a magical conversation work is the final point. No judgment, no anger, and no coercion in the time period that you have the conversation. Now, I had a magical conversation with Diane and Alan and their team, and a year later, I went to see Diane, and she said, you know, that is the training program, the facilitation program that has lasted longer than anything else we've ever done. And that's because it came from the heart. It was individual and collective. It ensured that they all felt loved and part of a community. It changed them at a life level as well as a team level and a community level. And I said, if any of you ever know what it's like to work in a police department, it's not that easy. So that for me is magical conversations and my philosophy on what I call gender dynamics. And this is one of my favourite men. He's got crazy hair like me. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So what I'm going to ask you to think about is, what do you count in your life? And I believe that we're now in a decade which counts the heart, it counts for love, and it counts for people over profit. So, my name is Dr. Pauline Crawford-Ons, and I'm the CEO.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Thank you for having a magical conversation with us this morning.